Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on levy, no sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm Coos. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboy Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's stream. We've got Monday Night Football action. We got the Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've had some good primetime games recently. We've been a little blessed in that sense. But, yeah, I don't know if we can say that about tonight's game.
I have a feeling it's going to be better than most expect.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I forget what was the last game that we had? I think it was another mediocre primetime game. Oh yeah, it was this Thursday. It was the Jets and the Colts.
Yeah, but what was the Monday?
What was Monday night last week? It can have been good.
Seems like so long ago.
I know. It's been a long NFL week.
Yeah.
Just a lot of crazy shit going on.
Raiders, man.
Yeah, they cut Damon Arnett today.
Maybe it was a bad idea to have a football team in Las Vegas.
Yeah, what a first round of the draft that was. Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett. They're 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
That's not ideal, I think, is an appropriate way to phrase that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I see we got Larry. Says, leave your locks and your teasers at the door.
Hi, I'm looking for locks.
So yeah, we're gonna leave the locks at the door. We're gonna leave the teasers at the door. But we got some not quite locks. There's no such thing as a lock. We got some good picks. I actually really like the prop market tonight. And yeah. T Cherry, I agree. That is the GOAT intro song.
I have one prop I think I like, but see, sometimes I'll be on the fence on a few, and then you'll push me over the ledge.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it. It's a good discussion. Ben and I don't talk about these ahead of time. We have a very smart community here. Take some input from the chat.
My favorite is when someone's like, "Wow, great call on that," and I'm like, "I didn't say to bet it, but I talked about it for a while." So
yeah,
at least sometimes people get information out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't really want people I say, like, bet this, and then they bet that, and then we talk about other stuff, and, like, if we don't say to bet it, you can't bet it. Like, no, we're here to provide information.
Especially
we're here
prop
to
market, too.
Yeah,
so many different bets you can make on a game, right?
Yeah, I mean, and maybe there's something that we say that you can combine with another piece of information that you have, and then that's a good handicap. Yeah.
Just kidding. Maybe.
Also, what's up, Roy? Glad to see you here. So we got, again, Chicago and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, at home, 7-point favorites. Total in this game, currently sitting at 40. I think this was down as low as 39. Although got bet back up a little bit. And the Steelers, the spread, was less than 7 for a good portion of the week. But has steadily climbed up, and I think has just settled on this key number. Once again, we see a lot of consistency in these numbers across different books right now. I'm showing... Oops, I just closed Superbook. Showing 7 and 40 everywhere. I mean, again, key numbers, not going to see really much of any movement off of them. So that's where we're at. The model has Pittsburgh winning this game but not covering. So we got 22 to 19.55 from the model. So Pittsburgh winning by about 2.5 points and a total of right around 41.5. I don't know that it's possible for the model to spit out a total below 40. Mm-hmm. So you have to factor that in here. This is an extremely low total from the model. That being said, it does like the over, and it does like Chicago to cover. Ben, is there anything, either betting-wise or not betting-wise, that you're interested in here?
Well, there's a phenomenon going on here that I find pretty fascinating. Not surprising, but fascinating. You're going to hate this.
Of course I am. If it's fascinating, I hate it. I hate everything that's fun in the world. Just give me the raw data.
So, I think we've seen an influx of public money coming in on the Bears because yesterday was an absolute slaughter by the sports books. Every outcome that the sports books needed basically hit minus
the one that we had a big argument about on stream, saying that this was pointless.
Yeah, ironically, and then I talked to John Murray, and he's like, we did really well. They actually needed the Chiefs to cover, surprisingly, but
is that surprising?
Yeah, because I thought there would still be public money coming in on the other side, but it is what it is. Whatever. So where I was going with this, it almost seems like people are like, well, it's going to continue today. It's kind of like the gambler's fallacy, right? Where it's just like they're taking the outcome of this game and they think it's correlated with what happened yesterday.
Yeah, no.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And people do behave that way. And I think people get all caught up in this public money, sharp money, whatever. And they say, oh, the books cleaned up. And then maybe people will bet on the side that the books need, only for that reason. Just like the books were winning, they have to keep winning. It's like, no, that's not the way it works. Mm-hmm. What happened in those games has absolutely no impact on what's going to happen tonight. There's 53 players on each team and 6 referees that are going to decide what happens tonight.
That's like this summer when someone in our Discord said, well, there's been 7 Yerfies runs in the first inning. So tonight's game, there's got to be a Nerfie. And I was like, no, I mean, there's no correlation unless the refs or the umps are like, hey, we need a run tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the umps just call 16 straight balls to start the game.
But hey, if you think it's rigged or anything along those lines, so be it. But we believe that here, so we're gonna go off of what we know. And I wanted to start off with that. But as far as the spread goes, Nick, I actually kind of like the Bears.
Yeah, I feel like it's a kind of sneaky spot for the Bears. I know Larry said it's my favorite quarterback. He's actually my second favorite quarterback. Thank you very much. Starting tonight for Chicago in Justin Fields. But Fields, I think, has shown some improvement. Mm-hmm. Are the results there? No. But I do think that he's improving. He's improving. I think his decision-making has just gotten better over the last couple of weeks, which is what you want to see out of a young quarterback. I think early on he was really deer in the headlights, but especially behind that offensive line. Mm-hmm. But the last couple of weeks, he's really developed some rapport with a couple options in the passing game, and he's become a more assertive runner. He's been willing to just make the decision, okay, it's time to go, let me go. And I think that both of those things have really helped out Justin Fields the last couple of weeks. Is he like a top quarterback in the league right now? Absolutely not. But he's not losing his team games.
Yeah, for me, it's just him being decisive and he sees something and he goes with it. Like, even if it's a bad throw, so be it, right? I think it's just making a decision, going with it.
You got to play with some big dick energy.
You do.
Is what it boils down to.
Wait, is that the backup? Where's Nick Foles? No, Nick Foles is out of there. Where's Nick Foles at?
Nick Foles. I don't know where Nick Foles is.
He's not in Chicago anymore.
No. Is he?
He is.
Yeah, I think he's. I think they.
So there was connection you were trying to make. That was just random.
No, that was completely unrelated to Nick Foles. But yeah, Justin Fields is playing better, and I think that the Bears covering here makes a lot of sense. On the Steelers side of things, I don't really know what to make of this team. Putting up Chicago as a lean real quick here. Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, I feel like he's always been hurt. He's been hurt for the last 5 seasons. He's shown flashes like he always does, but he's been pretty consistently mediocre recently, I would say. So the Steelers are actually kind of sneakily on a 3-game winning streak, but none of those wins have been all that impressive, I would say. So a 15-10 win on the road against Cleveland, although I think Cleveland, after they jettisoned OBJ, are a much better team for having done that. I think
Who's that? So that guy made that one catch that one time?
Yeah, he's the guy with the cool hair.
Yeah.
They had a 23-20 overtime win against Seattle, and then a 27-19 win against Denver. Running game has really picked up for them in those games. The first 4 games that they played this year, that was their win against Buffalo, losses to Vegas, Cincy, and Green Bay, maxed out at 75 rushing yards. The last 3 games, those wins, 100-plus rushing yards for the Steelers each time. So that's the big change that they've made. But still, these are not all that good of teams that they've been playing, and they've been close games. And Larry. Yeah, Ben.
Larry was he was talking about Madden. That's what he meant.
Yeah, it's playing rock, paper, scissors.
You know what Big Ben reminds me of?
What does Big Ben remind you of?
He reminds me of that drunk uncle who is always hurting himself, and he's like always hurt, and you're like, what'd you do now? Your ankle? He has like busted elbow, concussion. It's like, come on, get it together. And he's always hurt. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, it did. I mean, I don't quite have that uncle, but I can picture him. I can combine a couple uncles. And
yeah. But it limits what they can do offensively.
Yeah.
And this Bears team, Nick, we've seen them over time, especially last year we saw this, where they have those performances where they shut down an offense. I kind of feel like this could be one of those spots.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So the Bears, they've lost 3 in a row. They started out the season 3-2, but they've lost 3 in a row. But these are 3 games against pretty good teams. There was a 10-point loss against Green Bay with their actual starting quarterback. They got destroyed by Tampa, but that's excusable. It's Tampa. And then the 11-point loss last week against San Francisco. I don't think that they played a poor game. Mm-hmm. San Francisco just played a little better. So
they gave up a touchdown at the end, too, so it was like one of those...
Yeah, it was like a backdoor cover for the winning team.
Yeah.
I mean, San Francisco had 15 points through 3 quarters, and they scored 18 in the 4th. That was the difference. I think Chicago was actually winning going into the 4th in that game. So I think the Bears are improving, and I think that at 7 points against this kind of beat up Steelers team, I think it's a good buy low spot on the Bears.
Yeah. I mean, it's not sexy betting on the Bears, but that's okay.
No,
that is A-okay.
So something else that I'm actually a little curious about now is team total for the Bears. So if this game the total is set at 40 and the spread is 7, we're probably looking at we are looking at an implied total of 16.5 for the Bears. Would you think that team total is a better look than a Bears cover? Or
sorry, what was the number one more time?
Probably 16.5. Let me double check. Yeah, so I'm actually seeing a 16 for the Bears. 16. And likewise, potentially a Steelers team total under 23.5.
We always have these conversations. It's like, what's more likely? 14-20 or 17-27, right?
Yeah.
I kind of lean with the cover for the Bears. But I like both. I mean, I think they score 17.
Yeah. I actually think that I might like that Steelers team total under 23.5.
Yeah.
But we'll stick with the Bears cover as our official lean. Our official unofficial. All right. So you ready for the prop market?
I am.
All right.
I am.
I am too. I think this is a really interesting prop market because the total is set so low. We get a lot of low numbers, but there's also a couple numbers that are actually pretty high, especially with running backs. But starting off with quarterbacks, we've got Ben Roethlisberger passing yards over under 241.5. Justin Fields passing yards over under 183.5.
Let's go.
Where are we going?
We're going with the over for Fields. That's where we're going.
Are we? So why do you like Justin Fields passing yards over 183.5?
Okay, so hear me out, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
This could seem counterintuitive because David Montgomery's back.
Yep.
But I actually think that helps Fields and increases his chances of going over this number. And the reason why...
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, the reason why is because I do expect that the Steelers will start to load the box in this game because Montgomery's averaging, it's got to be close to 4.5, 5 yards a rush, correct?
Yeah, let me look real quick. But Montgomery is definitely an effective rusher in that sense. Yeah, 4.5 yards per carry this year.
Yeah. So I expect some play action and some shots. I think that he's going to have opportunities in single coverage, and now it comes down to can he make those throws. 183 is a low number, but it's probably set accordingly because he hasn't hit that number in, I think, the last 4 games, correct?
Yeah, so in the last 5, he's gone over it twice and was really, really close under twice as well. He had 209 back in week 4 against Detroit, 111 in a poor passing performance, but that was a game that they won against the Raiders. I think that they really dominated that game on the ground. And then 174 in the loss to Green Bay, 184 in the win against Tampa, which is over by the hook, and then 175 against San Francisco last week. If you look at team passing yards, that'll have yards lost from sacks deducted.
Oh, yeah, which is something you have to consider.
Yeah, I mean, you have, yeah, I mean, especially if that's the difference between overs and unders here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that in this game, he's going to get opportunities, and he has some playmakers. I know it's bold, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of sneaky spot as well. He's getting a lot more volume in the passing game recently. First 3 starts that he made, or I guess first 3 starts. Never more than 20 pass attempts, but it's been 27 plus the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the volume is increasing, and I think that with the volume increasing, with just increased comfort with his guys, I agree with you. I think that the Justin Fields passing over, this is a good buy low spot.
The only thing that scares me, though, is if you look at that game against the Lions where he hit over this number, he was only 11 for 17.
Yeah.
But I do expect the volume passing-wise to be a little higher. I'm not saying he's going to go for 25 completions, but I think he could hit over 18. And I think his number's at 16.5, I believe, for completions.
For completions? Let's take a look. So, yeah, 16.5.
That seems kind of low too, huh?
It does.
It seems low until you look at his past performances.
Yeah, and then also the attempts is at 27.5.
Okay.
I think the yards is the one that I like the most out of all those.
Yeah, and you also get the opportunity for Montgomery to break a screen pass run. Mooney I think Mooney's playing, but he's banged up.
Yeah, Mooney is playing, but also is banged up, groin injury.
And then Khalil Herbert. He's another guy who can be a threat out of the backfield, and then Goodwin. So
Yeah,
they have
and
they have
Allen
some
Robinson,
guys.
who's probably the most talented receiver on the team.
I feel like he's so disrespected.
Yeah, he's been bad this year. He doesn't really seem that like he has good rapport with Justin Fields.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I like here. Big Ben. I don't know, because if the Steelers, let's say, get up 2 touchdowns, they could just run the ball with Harris every other play.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is a little game. The Ben Roethlisberger passing yards very game flow dependent. Mm-hmm. If the Steelers are down, somehow if the Bears go up by 2 scores early, Roethlisberger could throw for 300 pretty easily. But like you said, if they're winning, he could be down more like 200.
183. It's dropping.
Oh, that's what it was. It was at 183 when we looked the first time, and then it dropped to 182, and then it went back up. But yeah, to put all this in perspective, actually, Ben Roethlisberger this year, 3 games with 226 or less. In fact, I guess I'll say 3 games with 207 or less. A game at 226 and a game at 246, which are kind of intermediate, and then 3 games 299 or higher. So pretty much every time, he's either in the 200 range or in the 300 range, not really in between. Very boom or bust.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think there?
I think it's a good spot to stay away from. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Capacity plays. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And yeah, Clockworks. This was at 187.5 earlier on DraftKings. I'm not surprised it's dropping. I mean, you look at Justin Fields' raw numbers, and just based on that, you have to lean under. Also, I think I know who you are, but if you're in the Discord, let me, what's your name in there? Gotta connect all the dots. All right, you ready to look at some rushing props?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. Is Steelers -6 a lock, says Capacity Plays? No.
Play the clip. Play it.
Hi. I'm looking for locks.
Ben, I don't think you heard that.
But you played it.
I did. This share of my stream deck stopped. So.
All good.
Yeah. But no. So, yeah. Ben and I both like the Bears to cover this, actually. Especially at 7. If it's at 6, I think it is maybe fade-worthy. But getting 7, we both like the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So on the rushing side of things, we've got David Montgomery, 46.5. Justin Fields, 39.5. Khalil Herbert, 37.5 for the Bears. And then on the Steelers side of things, we've got Najee Harris at 83.5. So anything there tickle your fancy?
Man. Yes, it tickles my fancy. No, I'm not betting it.
I feel that. So
David Montgomery under was what I'm kind of looking at.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to know what we're getting out of the Bears' backfield because Montgomery has been out for a few games. Herbert's been playing really well. They don't really need to give Montgomery carries. I think it's going to be a hot hand situation. It's one of these guys is going to have a better first couple drives than the other one, and that's going to be the guy that gets the bulk of the carries today.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not really any way of telling who that's going to be ahead of time.
Yeah, and it's one of those tough situations where it kind of feels like one of these players will go over and one will go under.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And how do you really know? I don't. I mean, maybe
I don't.
someone feels more confident, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well.
For he says 83.5 FFS.
Yeah, that is an FFS moment.
Just sticks out there. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was alluding to when we started up. It's like a lot of low numbers, and there's one that's randomly really high. That is this Najee Harris at 83.5. So let's talk about this number though. This Najee Harris over under 83.5 rushing yards. So the Bears have been pretty bad defending running backs recently. I think every game this year, they've allowed a back to run for at least 66 yards against them, I guess, except for the Raiders game, where John Gruden made me want to smash my head into a wall.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. He might have been a running backs coach back in the day. I don't know. But last 3 weeks, 135 yards allowed to the Packers, to their running backs. 177 allowed to the Bucks. 141 allowed to the Niners. They're averaging 4.88 yards per carry allowed on the year, at least 5.5 each of the last 3 weeks. That being said, 83.5 is a big, big number for Najee Harris. Harris is getting quite a bit of run recently. 20 plus carries each of the last 3 weeks. 122, 81, and 91 yards in those games. Again, those are all Steelers wins, by the way. But if the Steelers end up behind in this game, which I don't think is out of the question, his rushing volume has actually been quite a bit lower. So so those are 3 of the wins. And then in week 1 against Buffalo, which is their other win, Harris had 16 carries. In the 3 losses, 10, 14, and 15 carries for Najee Harris. Max of 62 yards. So again, I think that this is extremely game flow dependent. I think if we know that the Steelers win, I like the Harris over. If we know that the Steelers lose, the Harris under feels like a lock, if there is ever such a thing as a lock. So I'd be inclined to lean under here, but not something I would really feel comfortable betting.
You said it. I feel the same.
All right. And yeah, Thibault, the stash is it's out in full force. Yeah, and that is true. Marlon Mack is out. Eddie Jackson's out. And those are big losses for the defense. Yeah. What did I say? Did I say Marlon?
Marvin.
Marvin?
No. You said Marlon. No, you said Mattress. No, I'm just kidding.
I said Mattress Mack is out.
Mattress
Smash
Mack
the Steelers.
Over under 0.5 tackles.
You know, there's a really cool museum in Pittsburgh called the Mattress Factory. There's no mattresses there. It's like a modern art installation type museum. Really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was like actually really cool. I'm not a big modern art guy, big museum guy, but when I lived in Pittsburgh, I went there twice, and it was actually really cool. So maybe that's where Mattress Mack is, at the Mattress Factory.
Well,
maybe that's where Khalil Mack is going to be.
He lost some money on his Astros bets, but
well, I mean, it's an insurance policy. It's not like an actual bet.
But I have some thoughts on that, but it's fine.
Yeah. All right. You ready to take a peek at receiving props?
Yep.
All right. So let's start out with the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears. So we've got Allen Robinson over under 38.5. If I told you at the beginning of the year that an Allen Robinson receiving prop would be 38.5, that'd be pretty wild. And like he's healthy. I would
actually kind of believe it.
I suppose. Somewhat. I mean, but with Dalton, knowing what we knew coming into the year, Allen Robinson, I mean, 38.5 feels like a steal. But him and Justin Fields don't get along. We've got Cole Kmet over under 30.5. Darnell Mooney over under 42.5. David Montgomery over under 8.5. Khalil Herbert over under 7.5. Marquise Goodwin over under 13.5. And that's it. So there's one guy here that I really like, actually, but I'm curious what you think, Ben.
Well, first of all, I'm up 11 points in fantasy, and my opponent has Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, so I'm probably screwed.
Yeah, probably.
But you never know. I've seen crazier. So for that, I'm taking unders for both of. No, I'm just kidding. Rule number 1: do not get your fantasy and sports betting mixed up and in the same bet, because bad things.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah,
You're betting with your emotions, not your brain. Oh, you're the
Absolutely.
wrong part of your brain.
yes, the frontal cortex, right?
Something like that. I don't know. One of the cortices. So anybody on the Bears that you're interested in?
Actually, I kind of like Allen Robinson.
Now that I spoke it into existence?
Yeah, is that emotion?
Maybe.
I lean Robinson, but it's 38.5 for a reason. Put it that way.
Yeah. Robinson not getting a whole lot of volume. Just like 4 targets each of the last 2 weeks. He's gone over this number a couple times this year. He had a 63, but only on 3 catches on 3 targets against Detroit. And then had 53, 4 catches on 7 targets against Green Bay. Those are the only times this year that he's hit this number. And this is a guy who had 1,250 receiving yards last year and 1,150 the year before. So the fact that he's not putting up yards is kind of wild. Is that because of Justin Fields? Maybe. I mean, to some extent, but even with Andy Dalton, he wasn't putting up numbers. So potentially, Allen Robinson could be a guy who breaks out in the second half of the year.
Potentially.
So I see everyone talking about Cole Kmet, and specifically Cole Kmet's under. And I've got some bad news. I actually like Cole Kmet's over 30.5.
Tell us why.
Okay, let me tell you why. So there's a couple of reasons. I think that Kmet has been a big reason why Justin Fields has got a lot more comfortable these last couple of weeks. So aside from week 1, which was all Andy Dalton, weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5, Cole Kmet, 1 catch, 1 catch, 1 catch, 2 catches on never more than 4 targets. No, Larry, you never said under, but some other people said under. You just said Kmet.
Yeah, Kmet.
He will either go over or under 30.5.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's a lock.
That's why that's when you can never lose.
Yeah. But these last 3 weeks, Cole Kmet, 5, 6, and 6 targets. 4, 5, and 3 catches in these last 3 weeks. 49, 43 against Green Bay and against Tampa. And then just 24 last week against San Francisco. But I think that's kind of the outlier there. And that's still close to this number.
So you're saying that's his guy. That's his homie.
I think that Kmet, and also Mooney, but I think Kmet's got the better value on his number here. Also, the Steelers, not all that great against tight ends. So they're averaging, allowing 4.5 catches on 6.5 targets, 47.5 yards to tight ends on the year. Last week against the Browns, their tight end triumvirate combined 9 catches for 98 yards. Seahawks the week before that, 4 catches for 48 yards from the tight ends. Noah Fant didn't do a whole lot. Neither did Robert Tonyan, although they tried to target him a lot. But a lot of tight ends have had pretty good games against the Steelers. And I think that with his uptick in volume recently, I think that this 30.5 is 7 yards too low. I like Kmet in the 35 to 40 range.
I'm telling you, this could be one of those weird games where if Justin Fields gets going, I'm not saying bet all these overs, but man, they're just so low.
Yeah,
That's
I think
risky.
the volume in the passing game is going to be low. We have to remember that his completions is set at 16.5. Like, you can't have 8 guys hit their over on 16 catches.
Yeah, but what do the books know? Just kidding.
Not very much.
Okay, let me look at one thing real quick because I think I can find you a better number, Nick.
Okay, I'll take that.
Wait, hold on. Is it down? Is it up?
Is
I
it
saw
left? Is it right?
26.
Yeah, this has gone up. I think it was at 28.5 actually, or 29.5 when we started the stream. Because this was one that I was looking at just to check the number beforehand. I'm also showing a 30.5 on PointsBet and on DraftKings.
Oh, I got you, Nick.
Or on Superbook.
FanDuel 26.5.
26.5 on FanDuel.
Yep, I'm looking right at it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up.
And I'm
What a
on
steal.
FanDuel. I'm not using one of those, other sites that sometimes there's a little bit of lag. It's fresh off the press. And it's probably going to move because you know how these things go.
Yeah, we bring up a line on stream, and then it changes. Always in the direction that we don't want it to change in.
Yeah, even Clockwork said it too.
Yeah.
And that's Josh from
There
the
it is.
Discord, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You saw that. Yeah.
But yeah.
So, yeah, 26.5.
Yeah. Also,
Here-
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just curious what the reception number is at. I just logged out. Probably 2.5, but it might be like plus money, maybe.
I would think it's going to be like 3.5 plus 1.
Oh yeah, sorry.
20 or 130 or something.
It's okay. I had it flipped. It's 2.5 minus 166. If it was 3.5, it would have been plus whatever.
Yeah, well, I was just guessing. I don't actually know.
It's over 2.5
Over-
at minus 160.
Okay, and I'm also showing over 3.5 plus 135. So just depending on which side you want, you can either get or give away some juice.
4 catches. Nah, go the 26.5 seems like the.
Yeah, the 26.5 yards definitely feels like the play. So let's take a look at the Steelers, unless you have anybody else on the Bears that you're interested in. I've also got a guy on the Steelers that I really like.
Yeah, it's probably past Fryer Smith.
Pat Fryermuth.
Oh, Fryer Muth, not
Fryer Smith. That's like
I think.
the name of a pastor from the 15th century. This is Fryer Smith.
He's a monk.
Yeah. Also, TAC SB. I don't know exactly what's the pronunciation there. Is it like Tax B or is it TAC SB? But welcome to the stream. See, first time chat. Glad to have you here. Thanks for checking it out. Sorry I'm late. And okay, Taxby like Zaxby. Perfect. That makes sense. Sorry I'm late. Missed the spread and over under picks. Okay, yeah. And then Larry got you. So we like the Bears. I guess the model leans over. I'm not touching the total personally. But I if gun to my head, I would say over. All right. So on the Steelers side, we've got Chase Claypool over under 51.5 receiving yards. We've got Deontay Johnson over under 71.5. James Washington 13.5. Najee Harris 29.5. Pat Fryermuth 35.5. Ray McLeod 9.5, and Zach Gentry 10.5. Those are the numbers that we have for the Steelers. And flip. So are we taking the over for Komet? It's definitely a pick that I like. We're going to say our official top picks for the game at the end of the stream when we wrap up the discussion for all of the props. Komet reading over is definitely on my short list.
You can start this off because I do not have a lot here that I like.
So Ben, you were right. It is Pat Fryermuth that I like.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
And
I know you like those tight ends, man.
Yeah, and I like this Fryermuth receiving over. So the Bears also, I guess not also, they've actually been pretty good against tight ends this year. only allowing about 3 catches for 28 yards on average to tight ends. But they've played some teams that don't really utilize the tight ends a whole lot. Like last week, 1 catch on 2 targets for 7 yards against the Niners, who didn't have Kittle. That was just Charlie Warner getting a couple targets. The Bucs without Gronk. So O.J. Howard and Dion Yelder combined just 2 catches for 9 yards. So there's a couple outlier games that are dragging this number down. They've been pretty average aside from that. Eric
DJ Elder? I don't even know who that is.
Dion Yelder. I've never heard of Dion Yelder.
If anyone knows where he went to college, I'll give you a brownie.
You have 10 seconds.
Oh, no one knows this in the world.
No, not even
his parents.
Not even Dion. He knows the acronym. He knows the acronym of the school that he played at. He doesn't know what it stands for.
Time's up. Western Kentucky. So anyways.
Yeah, catching passes from Mike White.
Man, they had a squad back in 2015.
Oh, maybe not catching passes from Mike White if he's been in the league for that long.
It would have been around the same time.
Well, Mike White transferred in. He didn't spend his whole career there.
Oh, that's a good point.
But anyways, on the topic of Pat Freiermuth, the big thing here is that Eric Ebron is out in this game. Steelers have always, or at least as long as Ben Roethlisberger's been there, which is basically always, they've always liked to use the tight ends. Pat Freiermuth, they spent a 2nd-round pick on him in this past draft, and he's really shown a lot of flashes. And these last 2 weeks, so Freiermuth missed last week. He didn't miss week 6, which is their last 2 games. But Freiermuth, 7 targets in each of these games. Really looking like a guy that Ben is looking for. 58 yards and 44 yards in these last 2 games. And I think that kind of regardless of if the Steelers are up or down, Freiermuth is he's gonna get looks. He's gonna move the chains, and I think that he'll get enough volume. And of course, this number just moved up to 36.5. But
Naturally.
yeah, let me check FanDuel. It's probably like 15.
Also, Nick, real quick, this is completely besides the point, but Mike White and Dion Yelder did play together in 2017.
Oh, nice.
Anyways, no, I agree with you because part of this offense with Big Ben does rely on the tight ends, and they specifically will put tight ends in the positions to be the first read. So it makes all the sense in the world. Was Ebron out last game?
Yes, he was.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And he might have got hurt in that Week 6 game against Seattle, where Freiermuth also had 7 targets. I am too lazy to look. But regardless.
Komet's 24.5 on Barstool.
Yeah, we're not going to go to Barstool.
They didn't get access to be one of the first books in New York. They just announced. So people are a little upset about that. The Stoolies.
The Stoolies? Is that what they're called?
Yep, that's what they're called.
Makes them sound like
Nick, they're taxing 51% of the handle to the state, which hopefully doesn't bleed into the lines. I mean, that would be unfortunate if like the preset line is minus 112. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then they would have to recoup. I would. No.
Taxing the handle feels weird.
Yeah.
As opposed to, or I guess like an above 50% tax on the handle feels weird. That feels like the books are taking on a risk.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that is. That's a discussion for another time, though.
It is. So anything else besides Freiermuth that you like for the Steelers?
No. Pastor Friersmith was the one that really stood out to me here.
The guy.
I'm assuming you've got nothing Steelers receptions-wise or receiving-wise?
Yeah. Actually, Pat was the one guy that I was looking at. But
Well, then there we have it.
yeah,
Also, that number is at 33.5 on FanDuel.
Okay.
So that's even better. So we can take a quick peek at touchdown props, even though, especially in a game like this, I think touchdown props feel pretty bad.
Yeah. So Trent had a post that says, "Who's the random no name that's catching a touchdown tonight that's going to win me 200K in DFS?" I said Khalil Herbert for sure.
Here, the random guy. I'm just gonna scroll down and not look. It's gonna be the guy that I clicked on was no touchdown scorer. I just randomly scrolled like, this is the random guy. Nope, there isn't one.
Yeah, it's going to be his 6-3.
Yeah, actually, the one above, Jesse James, he scored a touchdown last week. Plus 4,000.
All right, Nick, you're going to hate this one.
Oh, boy.
A lot of books, you can't even access this, but what about... Wait, hold on.
This is going to be some degen shit.
Yeah. It's not points bet degen, like...
We're not doing multipliers.
Yeah, no multipliers today. Justin Fields to score 2 touchdowns is 20-1. But those would have to be rushing touchdowns, of course, not passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's what is it, 350? Just to score 1 for him?
For Justin Fields is 275 to score 1.
Okay, 275. I mean, I never bet these anyway, so
Yeah, I don't like that.
it's just my long shot, you know.
Yeah.
Cow.
Lazy dumper. What a name. Cowboys were a dumpster fire this weekend, and I enjoyed it all. I enjoyed it too.
I lost money on that game, and I still was happy. I was like, I don't even care. This is amazing.
Ben, what'd you do to make? Oh, you bet the Cowboys early in the week, right?
You had the teaser.
Oh,
that
your
I
teaser.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Here's something that I picked up on. It's always the teaser leg or the parlay leg that you feel most confident in that loses.
Yeah. I mean, Ben, you should have waited for the model. Would have told you that even teasing, we still like the Broncos.
I know. I was trying to get that closing line value because I knew it was going to shoot up.
Yeah. I mean, what is CLV if you lose anyways?
Yeah, that's the man.
It's the trade-off, right? So you get your bet in early, and you probably lock in a good line. But the trade-off for that is you lose out on the opportunity to gather more information throughout the week.
Nick, you know what would be a hilarious, just random thing to do? And thank you, Lazy Dumper, for the follow. Is we compare the CLV conversation to other fields and industries. It would be like nature versus nurture in sociology, psychology. Like, which is more important? Well, it's nature. No, it's nurture. I mean, I feel like the CLV thing in sports betting, I see it on Twitter like every day. And those viewers, you know what I'm talking about if you're on Twitter. It's like, it's taking over Twitter, the CLV conversation. It's just funny.
What are the arguments that people make? Especially against CLV.
They say, CLV, what's it worth? What's it good for if the bet doesn't hit?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And then the other people are like, nope. You play CLV in long term, you're going to be a winner. So.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. All right. So we got 15 minutes.
15-minute warning.
15-minute warning, yeah. I don't know. Do I have alarm bells on this? I forget what's on
that
here.
soundboard has everything. Also, guys, you can give us suggestions for sounds to use. Just has to be relevant.
Yeah. I forgot what was on here.
Like, we can't just have, like, a pig noise like that.
No, we can have a dog noise, but
Yeah.
but no pig noise.
I could just record whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, I have a dog on the soundboard. I just played it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Nick, you got to fill me in on these sounds.
Yeah, I will. It was up. The stream just went away.
Draft sounds.
Here. You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do? I'm going to share my screen with you. Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
That's
fine.
why, because Oh, I know why it stopped. I minimized the stream deck. Here we go. There we go. You can see that, and now we're going back to full screen. And now Ben can hear everything once again.
Okay, well, we should do best bets. Do we have like an alert noise for that?
At this time, I'm going to ask you to fasten your seatbelts.
It's gonna be a bumpy ride. No, it's gonna be a smooth ride, but you have to fasten your seatbelts for FAA regulations. So,
I didn't hear that, by the way.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
It's fine. I don't. we got like 13 minutes.
Okay. I was wondering, you were just sitting there staring straight ahead.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So Ben, do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first on the favorite bets?
Let's have you go first because I just want to double check what it's at.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, I don't want us to be too correlated. So.
Well, mine's gonna be Justin Fields.
Okay, yeah. So if you're gonna take Justin Fields, then I'm not gonna take Komet.
Okay.
Although Komet probably is technically my favorite, in the interest of
Nah.
diversifying our portfolio, we're gonna mix it up a little bit.
You know what Trent says that I think the funniest thing Trent has ever said is he'll make a parlay with multiple sports, and he says we're diversifying the portfolio here. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you're actually doing the exact opposite by doing a parlay. it's hilarious.
that's actually an excellent point.
Yeah,
That's like all of your eggs in one basket.
It's the complete opposite of diversification.
Special edition super
Anyways,
goat lad today. Hop on.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Okay, I got it. Justin Fields over 182 and a half passing yards. That's on FanDuel. Book it, bink it, bop it,
Bink it.
blister it.
What was our word? I forget what our word was. It can't be a good word if we keep forgetting it.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Bink is not a good word. If that's a word that somebody uses, that's like
Yeah, bink it.
it's like you're playing Bop It. It's like Bop It
it was
4th edition.
it was dome it.
Oh yeah, Dome It.
But see, that's terrible.
That's not a good one.
Yeah. All right, you go.
All right, so as much as I like the Cole Kmet, in the interest of diversifying our portfolio and not having top players that are super correlated, I'm going to go with the tight end wearing yellow and black instead of the tight end wearing blue and orange. We're going to go Pat Freiermuth over 33 and a half receiving yards as my top play of the day.
Like it.
Like it, love it, gotta have it. Damn, I want some Cold Stone.
Dude, Cold Stone is...
Cold Stone is so good.
Here you go, Nick. See this? This guy's bringing us to the promised land tonight.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Famous last words here.
Famous last words. I probably got a Justin Fields card sitting somewhere to my left.
The famous last words for Trent, and I hear this a lot, is like, tell me how this loses. It's like, I hate that one.
And injury.
Yeah. There's actually a long list of things that could make this bet lose, actually.
Yeah, so that wraps up the picks and props portion of the stream. Ben, do you want to do look-ahead lines for next week? Or not? Okay, so you know what we should do instead? We should figure out what the hell time we're streaming at tomorrow.
Actually, that's a really good point because I am set to speak with Chase tonight about it.
Okay.
So I think we're for sure going to stream. We just got to figure out probably in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so first games tomorrow are at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. So definitely before that. So maybe like noon would be a good time. Maybe an hour earlier.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty safe time moving forward also.
Yeah. And guys, I highly suggest you tune in because not only did we crush college basketball last year, but early season, we didn't have the model up and running last year. At the beginning
I think
of the
that was
season.
actually for the best.
Yeah,
it needs a little time to bake in. It needs those first couple non-conference games.
Yes. So check this out. talked to John Murray 2 weeks ago, and he's like, man, early season college basketball. He's like, we get crushed. The books get killed because the lines are so hard to make. There's so many games. They can't stay on top of everything. So not only do we have that going for us, we have the model. So you definitely want to tune in. There's 100. What is the number, Nick?
So there's 115 games between two D1 teams. I think there's like 180 total. So there's like 60 teams playing D2 or D3 or NAIA schools or whatever. But 115 games between two. Actually, there's 119 between two D2 teams, two D1 teams. Just 4 of them are the new teams that I had to exclude from the model. But yeah,
capacity, yes, we do, and I mean, on top of keeping my fiance happy. But
yeah. This is full time for both of us, operating cap-wise.
So if we go live, it's probably going to be an hour before, or at least an hour before.
I think an hour before is safe. There's only 2 games at 1. I think also planning for the future as well. I think that noon Mountain Time is a pretty safe time to do those at.
Yeah.
Oh, and also this might be exciting news for people regarding those basketball streams. So the crowd favorite, the Wise 5, is going to be back for college basketball season. So I think that we found the middle ground. It was too much with baseball. It was too hard to find 5 bets every day. So college basketball going to be streaming, I think, twice a week, especially if we have Chase on Tuesday. Twice a week. Tuesdays and Saturdays. So those are the 2 big days for college basketball. Should be expecting 75 to 100 games plus on those days. So plenty of options to choose from. Plenty of model stuff to talk about. Plenty of just games, even if we don't have picks on them. A lot of interesting games to talk about. No, Larry, this is when we're streaming. I mean, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
If nobody else, if Ben's not doing it, I'm doing it.
Yeah, Nick's gonna be here. Rain, sleet, snow, no Ben.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna be here too. I'll be here. Personally, yeah, I'm gonna mail it to you via carrier pigeon.
Yeah, I thought we sent out a carrier pigeon a couple of weeks ago. It might have not made it.
No, but actually, I think having a stream schedule with like the graphic, is good. So I'm gonna probably start doing that once we know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and also having stuff that's not so dependent on guests joining up.
Yeah,
and like fitting other people's schedules around is going to be a lot easier. Like the NFL streams are super consistent, except for the one time I didn't have power.
Yeah,
like that's the only one that we've missed all year.
Yeah, and I had a 10-teamer that I would have given out that hit.
There was only one game that day.
Yeah. It's same game parlay, Nick.
Yeah, 10-teamer, same game parlay. Yeah. So yeah, capacity. Appreciate you joining up. Make sure you join the Discord if you're. I mean, you might have already done that during the stream. I guess the link literally just posted, but there it is. Nice Discord group, tons and tons of smart people in there, plus Ben and I. Yeah. So I guess that wraps it up. We will be back tomorrow for college basketball, like we were just talking about. Plus, you can catch us Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, for Thursday Night Football, whatever that game is next week. Plus, Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. for us here in the Mountain Time Zone, for a full run-through of that Sunday's NFL games. We'll see you next time.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck with the bets.
Peace.
Peace. Gotta find where the hell the ending button is. There it is.